All right, guys. Got the opportunity to finally watch this movie. It came out December 8th, as you can see on Netflix. Not trying to support Netflix as an ad for them, just talking about a movie I watched on there. But this was Leave the World Behind. This had a very interesting trailer. If you don't recall what that trailer was, you've probably seen it. It showed a cargo ship crashing into a beach, but it was like taking a while to get there. And the daughter's like, hey, that ship's getting real close. So, anyway, if you've seen that scene, then you know. But I want to touch on one scene in particular for this movie. So a lot of scenes in this movie are described pretty simply. This is the Tesla scene. This is really kind of at the beginning of that scene. Those are all Teslas. The name brand Tesla's in there. The logos on multiple cars. And I don't count this as a spoiler because it doesn't spoil the plot of the movie any, but the Teslas are all brand new in this scene. They all have stickers on the side of the window that say they're complete self-driving. If you don't know about this movie and you're going to watch it, then stop this video because the rest will have spoilers. So there's your warning. I'll give you a second. All right, now that you're gone. So these are all self-driving Teslas, and as far as the movie's alluded to at this point, something EMP related has happened or a hack has happened that navigation has completely taken offline. No GPS, there's no cell phones, nothing. But the cars are self-driving themselves down the road. Now, my only problem with this scene was that I didn't think the Teslas would go anywhere with complete self-driving because they're brand new off the lot. And if navigation has been knocked out, why would the cars be starting up and going? My partner suggested that what had happened was somebody was hacking the cars and using them as a directed device to run people over. But this stretch where they're at is fairly empty. My concern was these are technically autonomous boom booms because the batteries could be overloaded. There are hacks that make Teslas vulnerable. Now, here's what's funny. I did look up whether or not Elon Musk could respond to this, and he did in Elon Musk fashion. The man is just stupidly ignorant. And when they asked him whether this was a possibility, whether the cars could do this, because later on in the scene, more Teslas come up the road. He's all, oh, no, this could never be a problem. Teslas don't run on gas. They run on solar. So as you could see, the Tesla fine. He didn't address the issue of the navigation problem, though, and that's because he doesn't have the technical know-how to know any of that. When I looked up the meaning of this scene, because I was curious, the general consensus was that this was used to highlight that a cyber attack on the United States would compromise transportation and security, and this would be one of the problems. As you can see here, this is blocking an entire road. In the movie, this shows this road leads back to New York, so you could clog the roads up with vehicles. I don't completely buy that it would block the roads too badly because other vehicles that are abandoned would have a similar issue. Generally, the premise of the movie is pretty simple. When I looked stuff up, a lot of people were like, they didn't say why this happened. They didn't, elaborate what was going on. I think the movie answers a lot of the questions of why things are happening, like the noise. You'll get to that point in the movie, what the noise is. I think it happens before this, and it happens a couple times, but all of it is fairly well explainable. In my opinion, based on things that I know, this movie is completely probable. A lot of the technical aspect of things could definitely happen, and we're not ready for it in the United States. I have worked one too many jobs in IT where the companies were not prepared and bad things happen. My most recent regular job, this company, it was an automotive company, or a car dealership. They were kind of poking fun at a Denver group that got hacked, that got ransomwared, and they were just like, oh, how stupid they are. That would never happen to us. And then them knowing that I had a background in IT, particularly in managed service providers that handle security for companies, they had said, oh, what do you think we should do? And I was like, well, you need to get a data backup of some sort, and you need to get a way to isolate your network so if there is a hack, you don't have to rely on paying a ransom out. After I was termed from that company, for just ridiculous reasons, I think it's just kind of divine justice. They ended up getting ransomware and hacked. They ended up paying for data monitoring from me for a year because all of their employment records got leaked. Customer data was leaked. Customer credit card information was leaked. It really was ridiculous. I don't know if they publicly said anything about this. I don't remember seeing anything in the news. So these companies keep this stuff quiet. I think they should mandatorily be required to report out what happened. I'm not going to say that name here. Because I believe it would put me at risk of being sued, even though the information I know is accurate and true. I think somehow they try to find a way to sue me. But if you're in Colorado Springs and you know of a large automotive group, good chance that they were hacked. And this happened a few years ago. Good chance they were hacked and your credit card information got leaked as a result of that. You can take that up where you want. I'm not going to directly say their name, but based on what I've seen though in these companies, they always lack security, and it's always at the result of a manager or IT manager or IT director who thinks they know everything, and they always say phrases to me like, "Oh, that'll never happen," or "It's too expensive to do that, so we're just not going to do it, and we'll just make sure everything stays safe." And they don't have the capability to. They're so far in over their heads they don't understand it. Even though they work in the environment, they just don't pay attention and they assume they're immune to it. It really is ridiculous. So, do with that what you will. But as far as I see it, multiple things within this film are probable. I'm trying to get my hands on a copy of the book. There is a book out for this under the same title. And so I'm trying to get a copy of that to go through myself. But I do want to see A24 Civil War. I've mentioned that a few times now in different videos. But I want to see what their take on this is. I'm getting the feeling after seeing this movie and based on the trailer that I'd seen for Civil War that the director of Civil War, because there's no book for Civil War, was watching films like this and maybe decided that he wanted to do his own take on it. I think because it's A24, that I forget the director, but I'm familiar with him. I think it's going to be more in depth and it's going to be embellished a bit though, so we'll see. But what are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie, Leave the World Behind? Do you think it's probable? What parts do you think were ridiculous? And do you have any concerns? Do you have any questions about what could actually happen? Do you want to know? I can probably answer those questions for you. I have a slight background on this. I am not a full security expert, I will tell you that, but I have worked multiple IT positions where security was at the forefront of those positions. I have worked IT at a school district. I've worked IT at a middle school. I do have technical background. I know these things. I have worked with law enforcement on things. I've done multiple things in my life, as short as it is at this point, because I'm barely going to be 40 here soon, where I've had to deal with these. So I'm glad to answer any questions. I believe in bringing awareness to things. I don't think keeping things quiet is the right way to do things. At the same time, I don't want paranoia out. I'd rather answer these concisely. I think that if people are better educated on IT security, IT things in the world that we're in, the better they can do. So please don't go to your paranoid uncle and think that, things are going to happen a certain way. Please ask people who have know-how. We're the right people, myself included. I feel like we're ready to answer those questions. We want an informed populace. I don't want paranoid people. I want informed people. So anyway, what are your thoughts, guys?